Welcome back. Up now, we have our weekly energy update with Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. All yours, Dan.
Well, thanks very much for that, Nima. On such a beautiful day, it's kind of hard not to notice that spring is here, and with it has been finally some increases in gas prices that we've talked about in the past. The switch over from winter to summer gasoline, that is a thing. I just want to explain to people what that means because it happens in different parts of the country at different times, but it all has to happen by about the 15th of April, and it switches back to winter gasoline on September the 15th. So the same routine. This year we saw what amounts to a net increase, at least on the markets, of about 8 cents a liter. Markets, of course, have been in retreat, so we didn't get quite the full effect of that, and that's probably a good thing. But the purpose for which this is done, it's been going on for some 40 years, is to ensure that volatile gasoline with additives like butane aren't introduced to gasoline in the summertime as heat. The expansion of gasoline that can cause evaporation problems can go into the environment, creating low-level ozone, concerns about volatile organic compounds. But there's also another factor. Some of us who've been around a few years had cars where you turn them off and they actually continue to run. You get run on or knocking and pinging. The same reason why we have to move to different specs of gasoline for the summertime period. But the added ingredient is called alkylates. It's one of the main primary additives and blends that are used in summer blends of gasoline. And they're very expensive. This year, as I mentioned, 11 cents a liter. In previous years, it's been 4 or 5, but like everything else, subject to emissions caps, subject to constraints by climate advocates, prices for just about everything are going through the roof. And so there's a cause and effect, especially for those who think nothing of the green policies that are driving up the cost of just about everything. This week, we're likely to see a tapering of prices. We've seen this already where markets in the United States have become very nervous over the idea that the US Fed would continue aggressively fighting inflation. Much of that inflation caused by the Biden administration's Inflation Reduction Act, talk about a misnomer. It is inflationary. It's giving people checks and a lot of printed money out there. So it's expanding the money supply. And it's also having consequences here in Canada, a country that's very familiar with spending money we don't have and ballooning our deficit. Both are having the effect, of course, of raising inflation, for which there really is only one tool by the Fed, and that's to try to tamper that or at least put that inflationary fire out with higher interest rates. So that has markets really nervous about demand destruction, about a slowing economy, all of these things, which up to now have been proven significantly untrue. Not only untrue, Nima, we're looking at a circumstance where we're actually going to see about a 3 or 4% increase in global demand for oil and gasoline. And so for those reasons, the market is going to become continuously approaching this point of being very tight and undersupplied in some cases. Not so much in North America or in Europe just yet, but certainly around the world. And what happens around the world has an impact on the price we pay here in Canada. Not lost, of course, on folks like myself who do this every day, benchmarking. The value of the Canadian dollar increased power in strength a little bit, but now losing that strength, and it's adding about 30 cents. That's correct, 30 cents to a liter of gasoline. Imagine every other commodity we consume in this country, Nima, that is priced in US dollars. That's all commodities. No wonder the price of food and everything else is up, and that is the true cost of policies in this country, which are designed to and have had the effect of destroying Canada's petroloonie status. That shield is no longer there. And it's one of the reasons that by the end of the week, and I'm staying closer to Wednesday or Thursday of next week, average prices in Canada will be up about 5 cents a liter. So take advantage of this while you can. Vancouver, $1.82, rest of British Columbia, $1.60, about $1.75, Alberta, $1.38 to $1.40. Saskatchewan, $1.60, Winnipeg and Manitoba, $1.63 to $1.67. Ontario, of course, we know is in the $1.56, 57 range. Quebec in the $1.71, $1.69, and the Atlantic provinces in a little closer to $1.65, $1.70. This will be the last few days where we have decent pricing. Then watch out. I'm going to be looking for what happens when the U.S. Fed finally ends its war on inflation. Once that signal is given by Fed Chairman Powell, all is going to break loose. And make no mistake, oil will go back up $10, $15 a barrel, and with it, gas prices. But that isn't now. That isn't this week. and Nima. We'll be back here next week to update you on more. That's it for today. We'll talk.
All right, thanks, Dan. Again, that was Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy.